Hey everyone, as we get started with our sight reading this week, I'm going to give some shout outs first to Olivia, Rebecca, Jason, William R, William C, Bailey, Jace, Ivory, Coraline, Wesley, Angeline, Timothy. Did I say Jason? Jason, Rebecca, Paige. All of these are folks that made a comment on the discussion board this past week, so thank you very much. Many of you made suggestions about instruments that we should use, so maybe you'll see some of those instruments. And I received another challenge this week, another really interesting one. So Paige sent me a message on Schoology and asked if I would accept the challenge of playing a medieval piece of music on the recorder. How could I say no? So, challenge accepted. We'll get to that in a little bit. But I actually thought it was really interesting and really great coincidence, Paige, that you sent that to me. It sent me on a little bit of a research, a little bit of a scavenger hunt, and I found a piece of music that I am going to actually share with you. So this week's sight reading comes from a piece of music that was written in, I'm not exactly sure exactly when, but during medieval times. Do you have a sense of when that was? Like, is there a year number that you could give me? If you think you could tell me when the medieval times were, let me know by sending me a message on Schoology, leaving a comment. So this is by a French composer named Guillaume de Machaut, and it's called Ma fin et mon commencement. Ma fin et mon commencement. That means my beginning is my end. I love that so much. It's so deep. But literally, it's kind of a joke that he made, a musical joke, because when he wrote this piece of music, he gave it three parts for three instruments, and each one of them, when they play start to finish, is going through a palindrome. So note by note, he wrote out a palindrome, and the very first note and the very last note are the same. The whole thing is a mirror image of itself. So it's kind of like a musical pun, if you will. Yes, music jokes do exist. So take a look at our example. This is from one of the three voices, or one of the three different instrument parts that he wrote. And this one's going to use whole notes. So let's agree that for our whole notes, we're going to just turn in a circle. Like this. So you definitely need to make sure you have personal space around you, that you're standing, you're not near anybody, you're not near any furniture. Next we have our syncopa, or our syncopated pattern that we've been really, really digging into this week. So let's say for our syncopa, we're going to do this pattern. Stop, clap, stop. Syncopa. Can you try it? Stop, clap, stop. Again. Stop, clap, stop. Okay. Then for our quarter notes, let's jump. For our half notes, let's do a sway. Ta. Just sway to one side. Ta. And for our quarter rest, Rebecca, we're going to take your great suggestion, which is to put both hands in the air, kind of raising the roof for our quarter rest. Okay. So take a look at the example. I'm going to grab my metronome. Here I go right now. To, syncopa, ta, ta, ta. Syncopa, to, ta, 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 syncopa, ta, ta, ta. It's a bit of a challenge. Wow. think we should do it again. See what happens. Here we go again. Toe, cinco, pa, ta, 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 cinco, pa, toe, toe, ta, 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 cinco, pa, ta, ta, ta. That was really challenging. Okay. That last example that we had was just one of the voices or instruments that Monsieur Machaut wrote for this piece of music, Ma fin et mon commencement. We're going to look at another instrument part or another voice. So keep in mind, I realize I use these words over and over again, but I don't always explain them. When I say the word voice, I might be referring to my actual voice or your actual voice. But sometimes when we're looking at written music, especially if it's for more than one instrument, voice just refers to a specific instrument's part. This voice part is going to show you some eighth rests. An eighth rest is going to get a half of a beat, just like an eighth note gets a half of a beat. When you see a single eighth note by itself, you have to be careful. It could be an indication of syncopation, in which case you would need to say cinco pa, but sometimes the eighth note by itself is not part of a syncopated pattern, so you really have to see if you can sleuth out where your syncopation is. I'll go ahead and show you the example now and see if you can figure it out. There is some syncopation in this voice part, so as you look at it, see if you can scan through and figure out where the syncopation is. So you know when to say cinco pa. All right, we're keeping everything that we did before the same. Our syncopated pattern is cinco pa, stomp, clap, stomp. I think the only thing new we need to be worried about are our eighth notes. So when you see eighth notes, you need to snap. I think that's going to be the easiest thing for us. Oh, and also for your eighth rest, touch your shoulder. So far, our syncopated patterns have all been an eighth note, a quarter note, and then another eighth note. But guess what? Here we have a syncopated pattern that's not the one that we learned. It's another version, another type of syncopation. Maybe not another type, but another pattern, okay? So this measure is gonna have to be a little different. T cinco pa. Here I go right now. Ta. Ta, ta, ti, cinco, pa, ti, ta, 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 ti, ta. This is what happens sometimes when you're sight reading something and you come across something unusual. You might not be able to finish. And I thought this might happen. But I thought it would be a really good time to share with you another example of syncopation, one that doesn't fit the exact pattern that we learned about so far, but just demonstrates that the syncopation can exist in several different forms, okay? So as you get better at it, you'll learn to identify it. Here, my syncopation does not finish with a single eighth note after a quarter note that comes after a single eighth note. This syncopation actually extends a bit longer than the pattern that we've been doing, cinco pa. So this syncopation actually has not 3 but 4 sounds that it's going to make. And the word syncopation has 4 syllables. So I'm going to propose that we use the word syncopation. syncopation. Can you try it? Syncopation. Clap it. Syncopation. Ooh, I love that. So let's see if we can get that last measure. T syncopation. Nice. Let's try it a couple times. Here we go. T syncopation. T syncopation. That sounds so cool. Let's try it together and see if maybe we can get that syncopation at the very end. Here we go last time. Toe, ta, ta, ta. T syncopa. T ta. Toe, ta, 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 ta. T syncopation. Got it. So now I'm gonna play for you this piece of music. And I just wanted to take a moment to talk about the recorder. I know I've briefly touched on it, but you're gonna be seeing a different kind of recorder in this little demonstration. So the recorders that most of you probably have are this size. They might not necessarily be this color or this exact shape. My recorder has a bell that comes off. If you have one, your bell may or may not come off. My mouthpiece also comes off. You might not have a mouthpiece that comes off, or you might. But this is a soprano recorder. This is what we've learned to play in school. It's not the only kind of recorder, however. There are different voices of a recorder, and while I don't have all of them, there are many, I do have a couple. So in addition to the soprano recorder, I have this one. Does it look the same? What do you notice about it? So this is called a sopranino. It's smaller than the soprano. Can you guess if the sound of it would be higher or lower than the soprano? Think about it. I also have one of these, which I just love. This is an alto recorder. So compared to my soprano, looks like this. It's considerably bigger. Man, seems like it might not even fit all the way in the frame. Okay. So compared to the soprano recorder, would you expect this to be a higher or a lower sound? Think about it. Let me know what your guess is, or if you just know.